So today we're going to talk about converting mixed numbers to improper fractions and converting improper fractions to mixed numbers. So when we're dealing with fractions, any proper fraction is where our numerator is less than our denominator. It becomes improper when our numerator is greater than our denominator because that means that we can take whole numbers out of it. And so a mixed number is a whole number with a fractional piece behind it. So there's a couple different ways that we can go from improper fractions to mixed numbers, and we're going to look at those really quickly. So if you see on the computer, I have to move it closer. The two ways that you can go from an improper fraction to a mixed number, you can use a number bond or you can use division. So if 11 thirds, if you look at this fraction 11 thirds, you can tell it's improper because if my denominator is 3 and my numerator is 11, my numerator is much larger than my denominator. So I can bring some whole numbers out. So when you do that with a number bond, think, if my denominator is 3, how many thirds does it take to make a whole? Well, it takes 3 thirds. So I'm going to put my big improper fraction in a number bond, and I'm going to take out 3 thirds. So I'm going to check that because that makes one whole. So I had 11 thirds, I used 3 thirds. That means I have 8 thirds left. I can still take out another whole. I can take out another 3 thirds, and that's what I did right here. So I had 11 thirds, I used 3 thirds, that took me down to 8 thirds. I used another 3 thirds, that took me down to 5 thirds. I can still take out 3 more. So here I did, I took out my third group of 3 thirds. So I had 5 thirds, I used 3 thirds, now I only have 2 left. So when I only have 2 left, that is not enough to make another whole. So that means that I have 2 thirds left as my fractional piece. So when we look at this, we brought out 1, 2, 3 whole groups of 3 thirds. So 3 wholes, and there were 2 thirds left. So 11 thirds as a mixed number is 3 and 2 thirds. If we look at doing it the division way, a fraction is really a division problem. 11 thirds means 11 divided by 3. Okay, so when I do 11 divided by 3, 3 can't go into 1, so that I put my x, but 3 can go into 11. We see it can go in 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 11 minus 9 is 2. That's your remainder. So it went 3 whole times. The remainder that you get becomes your numerator. 3 whole groups, 2 is left. Your remainder becomes your numerator. Your denominator doesn't change. So the way I got this, my whole number quotient is my whole number. My remainder is my numerator. And my denominator doesn't change. I still got 3 and 2 thirds. Division is definitely the fastest way. But if you're not super confident with your division, then it's probably not your best strategy. Sometimes you might be asked to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction. If this happens, this is much simpler. This is the easier one to do. So if we have 3 and 2 thirds, it's just 2 steps. First, you multiply your denominator by your whole number. 3 times 3 equals 9. You'll see that we came up here and put that up top. Then you're going to add, so you did denominator times whole number, and whatever you get, you write up here, and then you add it to your numerator. So 9 plus 2 equals 11. That becomes your new numerator. Your denominator does not change. That's how you go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. You multiply the denominator times the whole number, add that to the numerator, and there's your numerator of your mixed number to your improper fraction. So we'll practice another one. We'll go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. If my mixed number is 6 and 5/7, and I want to know what that equals as an improper fraction. Well, I can go ahead. I already know my denominator is going to be 7 because my denominator doesn't change. So 2 steps. First, I have to multiply denominator times whole number. 6 times 7 is 42. Now, I have to add my product of what I got when I did denominator times whole number, 42. Add that to my numerator, 42 plus 5. If I come down here, 42 plus 5 is 47. That becomes my new numerator. 47 divided by 7 equals, or 47 sevenths is the improper fraction for 6 and 5/7. Now, if I want to go from an improper fraction to a mixed number, and the improper fraction that I have is 59/4. I could number bond that. That would take forever to pull 4 out at a time. So we're going to divide. 59/4. When you set that up, your numerator goes in the house. 59 divided by 4. I'm going to list my multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. I'm also going to do my divide, multiply, subtract, and bring it down. Okay, I'm ready to start. How many times can 4 go into 5? Let's look. 4, 8's too much, so we have to go back. 4 can go into 5 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down my 9. Now I have 19. I'm ready to start over. So now I want to know how close can I get to 19 without going over. 20 is too much. So 16 is the closest I can get. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. 19 minus 16, I get 3. I have nothing left to bring down. So I know my remainder is 3, but I have to know what to do with that remainder. So I know I brought 14 whole groups out. My denominator doesn't change. My denominator stays fourths. My remainder now becomes my numerator when I go from an improper fraction to a mixed number. So I divided. The whole number becomes my whole number of my mixed number. My denominator stays the same. My remainder becomes my numerator.